the bullets ran out by the time it got to my father. So when I tell you, like, I'm here for a reason, I'm really here for a reason. I come from revolutionary blood on both sides. And God really did take her time when she made me. Like, she really did. Because I see Niyah Zuri. It's not just books. It's not just the film. It's not just the music that's coming. I'm really here selected as a bridge from the east to the west, and also in Africa from the east to the west, to bring this healing and understanding. So, we're here for this work.
Just about the characters in, I'd say the Niyah Zuri world.
Yes.
Who are these characters? How do you come up with the ideas to create these new characters?
So as you know, Niyah is the younger version of me, right? Niyah is a wordplay off of Nyakana or Nyakana. And Niyah Zuri means beautiful purpose. In Swahili, I was very intentional with selecting her name. Or purpose beautiful if you flip it in English, right? Why I'm such a backward speaker. Yet, I grew up with so much culture. All of my friends were from another country at the time. Like, it was such a melting pot. When we immigrated to Stamford, Connecticut, it was such a melting pot in the 90s. After it was gentrified, like, everybody couldn't afford to live there anymore, especially after 9/11. Everyone just kind of went either down south, to Atlanta, Charlotte, Texas. They went up to other communities and urban communities where the cost of living was low. Yeah, I grew up with everyone from around the world. People from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, from Haiti, from India, from Sri Lanka, all over Africa. Like, I have so much culture around me. So the Gonzalez twins, which are the secondary characters, are her best friends. And they're actually nothing alike. They're nothing alike. However, they evolve throughout the series. Miguel is very confident. He's actually overly confident. He's so overly confident, he's a little, like, egotistical. So if you read through the series and eventually when you see the cartoon series, nature, aka God, is always finding ways to humble Miguel. He's always being, like, attacked. He's being, like, attacked by bugs, attacked by forces, attacked by, like, naturalistic, mystical forces to humble him. And then I have Hugo, who's more shy. He's more reserved. They're twins, but they're nothing alike.
Wow.
And throughout the series, he actually evolves to be more confident, to be more self-assured, because as they venture through all these ancient lands, he has to anchor himself and say, I add value to this group. It's important for me to also know who I am, to assist with all these problem-solving situations. And he evolves, and it shows children that you can choose to become who you envision. You don't have to keep it in your mind. I'll tell the youth very quickly, this ain't Disney. Don't keep the dream in your mind. This ain't a fantasy world. They're trying to plug our kids in like avatars, literally, like rushing home to buy clothes for their avatars. They want to get them in this metaverse and get them separated from this reality of what's actually here. This is life. And you're deserving of fulfilling your potential and expressing yourself. Whatever it is that you want to do. It doesn't matter if your family doesn't believe in you. It doesn't matter if your environment is telling you that you only have a few options because of your zip code, or because of your area code, or because of your hue. You have a right. No one else is entitled to your life except for you. Best believe that.
Where does this passion for children come from? Where does this love come from?
Well, I've always been a humanitarian. So even after coming to the States, I've always traveled. I always stay connected with my family back home. And literally from the ages of like 10 through 17, I thought I was actually going to join the Peace Corps. I didn't have a plan for after high school because they already told my parents, oh, well, you're not poor enough to get a scholarship for your child. And she's not scholarly enough to get an academic scholarship. So you should pretty much write off college. Like the audacity, right? So I've always been one to want to heal the world. I've always had this passion. And as a youth, so for me, I was always like in the slums of Nairobi. I'm like literally in the orphanages with like HIV, AIDS positive children. I'm in Mexico, in Monterrey, like building schools, building basketball courts, building streets, building churches. And I'm not talking about like resorts. Like I was staying with families where they have, in their backyard, they have like cement blocks as their fence. And they would break a glass bottle and put it in the holes of the cement blocks so that no one would come as a thief into their property because they would cut their hands as they climb over. Like that's where I was. I've always been there. And I've traveled the country and I've traveled the world doing that work. That's always been my passion. Yet music came in before that. So it's very interesting being here now. I see full circle now how God has really like formed me to be the goddess producer that I am. Taking my passion, taking my life experience, even taking my literal genetic markers and my DNA and creating me to be a representative of the world to really bring this healing. For us to understand how to get out of our own way, for us to understand how to love each other. That's really what's destroying the world. Not pollution, not the ocean being, tainted with plastic bottles. It's us. Everything starts from within. Everything is an inside job.
What's next in this project?
Well, girl, the World of Niyah Zuri has been a 3.5-year project. Like I said, everyone was very comfortable with me being an author. They didn't know I was in the music industry back in the day from like 16 to 20, and I walked away from that. So this is really me healing from that experience and choosing to come back now, right? As a 2-time best-selling author, as an award-winning speaker, empowering the youth. And don't think I put everything on Instagram. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in these streets. I give awards to everybody, anybody. I don't need to send an invoice. I volunteer my time, especially for the schools that don't have the budget, because those are the schools that I went to, right? We didn't even have the funds to like go on a single field trip, elementary or middle. I didn't have my first field trip, I think, until about 8th, 9th grade, to experience seeing something different outside my block. And we didn't have the means to go to amusement parks, go to museums on the weekends, or to go to water park. We didn't have the means. My parents were struggling because they didn't honor their degrees in this country when we moved here. Because my family studied in the Soviet Union. The U.S. hates Russia, so my parents had to overly humble themselves in this country. Yet with their humility, I learned a strong work ethic. Even when my ESL teacher gave up on me of learning English, I found like a dusty dictionary in the back of a classroom. Like when the dust is so thick, it creates like this gray shag carpet. Yeah, it was like that thick. Like there's like dust mites and everything. I swiped it. All right. So sorry, Davenport, but I swiped the dictionary and I took it home and I studied every single word from the 2nd grade up until the 6th grade. And I taught myself English from aardvark all the way down to zoology, like all the way through. I would literally write it on my hand or my wrist. And I would become studious. And as I learned English, I would teach my mother English.
Wow.
My father already knew it because England colonized Uganda, yet we were speaking mostly German and Russian at home. So once I became fully free of expression, well, it was a wrap. Because now I could let everyone know who I am, what I'm here to do, and that I'm undeniable because I know myself. Like I said, I've been activated since I've been like 2.5, 3 years old. I became very conscious very early. So the characters, the film, the soundtrack, I have so much more in store for the Niyah Zuri Nation as a whole. Yet I have to do it in stages. Yeah.